Hi, in this episode, I'm speaking with the Puerto Rico Science, Research and Technology Trust. In particular, I'm speaking with Annie Mustafa-Ramos. Annie's been spearheading the Business Resiliency program for the Trust for a couple of years now. She's talking to me about what's happening right now when it comes to helping businesses become more resilient. So stay tuned. Hey, Annie, good to see you again. How are you doing?
I'm doing great and warm.
Oh, yeah. Not everywhere in the world is warm right now, that's for sure.
I know.
I know that, I was there, November of, so
2019?
2019? Yeah, and at that time, you guys were really starting to build that whole resilience platform for businesses, for the community. Just curious where things are at today. What is it? Almost a year and a half later? Just curious what you guys have been doing.
Yes, definitely. Let me give you a little bit of quick background of what we do. I manage a Resiliency and Business Innovation Program, which is an I-6 grant from the Development Administration from the US. And basically it was created, or it was granted, to help businesses become resilient in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria in 2017. So after that, we've got a couple of different disasters, including some earthquakes. And it was very interesting because we brought you to help our businesses and locals in general to learn about the program that you created, Master Your Disaster. One of them was Master Your Disaster in your city and Master Your Disaster in your business, which was very on time and precisely because in November, when we brought you 2019, January, we had an earthquake. So everybody was like, oh, we should have taken that, or, we're more prepared anyway. It was affected more in the South. And it was interesting because we had started to become, Puerto Rico is resilience, or is known for being resilient in hurricanes. So earthquakes, it was a little bit shocked. And of course, COVID is a different dynamic. So we were able, with all of the things that we are doing, match some energy resilient services and products to help in the aftermath of the earthquakes in the south part of Puerto Rico, which was the most affected. One of them was a footprint project, which we were able to help get together a not-for-profit organization that created a mobile solar power panels with a company here in Puerto Rico, and they were able to service the part of the community or some communities on the south that were affected. That was very interesting to help, and they stayed up about a couple of months. Also, we were able to create some custom-made resilient courses, and we included not only the hurricanes, but also the earthquakes. Didn't we know that COVID was going to affect us? But in that part, we were able to integrate some of those new disasters into those curriculums. And that was to help two main groups. One, businesses, and the other, support practitioners. For our businesses, we were able to help them create a resilience plan, okay? And the difference with a resilience plan is that at least they need to keep in mind when they have to pivot their business, because sometimes resilience means cutting your losses short and start anew. And the other group that we serve was support practitioners. So helping them have some tools, or the tools to help businesses create that resilience plan. So those are, kind of things we were doing, and we have another project, but I'll talk to you a little bit later about it.
Well, that's great, because I think, the first thing is understanding, just getting that education. And that's what, a lot of you were getting to the businesses and saying, this is what you need to think about. And I think a lot of them hadn't thought about it before. And so just that awareness helps. And so then when you get an earthquake a couple months later, you've already started thinking about, oh yeah, I learned that, or I remember hearing that. And so all of a sudden, I think you're that much more prepared to deal with a future disaster. So what about as far as some of the current work that you're doing to help businesses? What does that look like?
We are very excited because we are partnering with a company who's called Grillo. They created and they have implemented in Mexico and in Chile an early warning system for earthquakes. Of course, the topography here in Puerto Rico is different, and being Mexico and Chile bigger, right? This system, which consists of sensors that are strategically located in buildings, they are connected in the cloud, and with this platform they are able to monitor any vibrations and things like that, and gather the data in order to create an early warning system. Okay, so right now we're working with them. We are in the stage of identifying the businesses, because we're partnering with other businesses in order to host these sensors, in order to gather that data, because these sensors are going to be connected in the internet and they need to be connected 24/7 in order to see if we eventually can come with an early warning system. There are some warning systems here in Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico Seismic organization has done an incredible job, but it's usually after the fact, monitoring how big the earthquake or the wave was. But if we can at least try to start getting the data to create an early warning system for Puerto Rico. Just a little reminder, Puerto Rico and the north part of the island is one of the most deepest area in the ocean. Like you can put the Everest almost in that deep hole that is on the north part of the area in the ocean. So that's how big it is. So on the tectonic plates also influence, we are surrounded by that. So the earthquake that we had on January the 7th, 2020, it was a little bit reminder that we are susceptible to this kind of disasters. And working with Grillo and this project is going to give us the opportunity to become resilient in that area as well. So we are very happy to be partnering with them.
So just going forward, how do you think businesses are at this point? Do you think 1 year later they're much more prepared, they're much more aware of what could happen, and they've got plans in place? Or where do you think things are at today?
Overall, because we were hit by hurricanes, earthquake, COVID, we were coming from a recession as well. We are still in recession. It's, disaster in Puerto Rico, when people thought about disaster, they only were thinking about hurricanes.
Yeah.
Now, that was our comfort zone. Like there were memes and everything. It's like about Puerto Rican, how they were, ready to face the hurricane, things like that. Well, now anything can be kind of a disaster right now. So I think people are more aware, businesses are more aware. We are very lucky, for the lack of a better word, that we are receiving a lot of federal government money to work or deal with this disaster. So we are, of a lack of a better word, to and doesn't have to be the status or anything, just, but we have those monies to help rebuild and to at least help the businesses not become resilient, or at least hang on, because sometimes being resilient is hanging on or pivot. or pivot or changing the course of where the boat was going to go. So this was my north. Now my north is south. So
Yeah.
I need to do something else. The most impacted here in Puerto Rico certainly has been the restaurants. As of
Yeah.
now, restaurants only have a capacity of 30%. With 30%, they have been able to be creative. And I know there's a lot of businesses that created a, kind of a ghost kitchen, where they rent the part of the kitchen and then they deliver things like that.
Yeah.
Our executive orders from the governor, from the former, now this new governor is being, opening a little bit more. But for a long time, in the middle of Christmas, we had a curfew at 8 p.m. So you can imagine the impact that this had. Not only the 8 o'clock curfew, but Sundays closed. And a lot of, we are very social people. Puerto Ricans are very social people. So we will go with the families, we will go to different places, kind of a hub places to eat and things like that. So they were closed by the executive orders. So this has all been a challenge. So hopefully the last thing that one can lose is the hope for new things. I think 2021 is going to be a great year. You can feel it in the air. Of course, it's going to have its challenges, but I think we are going to have a great year to become better in our businesses, better as individuals, and better as society.
That's a great way to end, because it's true. People need hope, and people need to know that things are going to get better, because you guys know best. In Puerto Rico, the last few years have been tough, but to have that hope for the future, something's going to get better, that's awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time today, Annie, and wishing you and the Trust all the best in this year.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.